All right, everybody. Typhoon Mawar is now a thing of the past as far as this calendar year, but the assistance that our people need still continues. And the Disaster Unemployment Assistance Program was set up. Our friends at the Department of Labor are here. We have Dave Della Sola and Danella Cabrera. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so DUA was announced. Dave, I'd like to start with you. Several weeks ago, leading up to it, there were certain provisions. Can you get us up to speed on how many applicants the DUA program has received at this time?
So yes, we've just passed the 1 week mark at the Paseo on the official launch of DUA, 30 days. You have till October 4th at midnight to file. So yes, thank God it's running smoothly. Our system is working well. We're handling the crowds that have been coming down, and we're at about 1,500 applicants that have filed. So that's good. And we suspect that near the tail end of the program that more people will do the rush. And that's one of the messages, the key messages that I want to bring out today is that we have 15 people down there, and it takes 45 minutes to an hour and a half per person. So you can only see that we can only handle a handful. I don't want to have hundreds of people come at the last day or 3 or 4 that need to file and get assistance, and we're filled up. So as it stands today and for the next week, I think we have more than enough time that everybody that comes in is being seen. So now's the time to file. Please don't wait for the last several days of the program to get your assistance.
Okay, and Janella, what tends to be the most common question that would bubble up from would-be applicants about, either about the process or about eligibility or what have you?
I think most of the questions kind of center around the date, the time frame in which they were unemployed. I think people are still kind of confused as to what dates are covered. So because the typhoon, generally, I think we're all in agreement, struck around May 24th, but the disaster assistance period begins on May 28th. So there's a lot of people that lost employment between May 24 and May 28th. And a lot of businesses actually resumed operations around May 28th. So there's that small window of ineligibility. So we've been getting a lot of questions. Oh, well, they learn or they find out that they may actually not be qualified or not eligible because their business or their employer returned to work or resumed operations on May 28th. And they're finding that those 4 days actually don't count for unemployment. So we've been getting a lot of questions about that or phone calls because they need clarification. Maybe they tried to apply or they called or went down to the center and were informed that this actually does not count. So they'll call our center and kind of get that second opinion, and so we have to kind of inform them that, yeah, actually, unfortunately, those dates don't count.
And of
maybe
course,
maybe for I'm sorry, Dave, please.
we also receive some of the FAS citizens that are coming in, and they're very disappointed that they're not covered. And to be honest with you, I'm very disappointed for them too, because this is an assistance program for those who are working, not for those who are unemployed. So these are all people that are working and they're contributing to this economy, and their businesses were shut down because of damages of the typhoon, and there's nothing we can do for those citizens at this time.
Nothing. Now, Dave, I know at one point way back when you were an undergrad, you were considering majoring in engineering, and I know you like process to flow smoothly. As exhaustive and as thorough as the application process is, what tends to be the one thing that would trip up, the success rate of an applicant, of people coming in and either they don't have a certain piece of information or they would fail to disclose something?
Yeah, first of all, the system is similar nationwide. So a lot of them aren't familiar with the type of questions and how they're asked because they're asked in an unemployment system format. And that's what happened with PUA is that when they say, were you unemployed and they're working now, that doesn't mean you're unemployed now, meaning you were unemployed back when because of this storm. So that's misleading, and they can answer. If you answer a question wrong on the system, it'll disqualify you. So that's some of the nuances that, especially those where English may be the second language, even the first language. When I first saw it, some of these questions were a little, well, how do I answer that? Do I answer where I'm my status now or back then?
Mm.
Especially you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to get caught. So it can be a little hard to understand. And then also when you're self-employed, when you are up and running again, and when you're able to do your business again. Okay. And some people from PUA misunderstand, oh, if you had to stay home and watch your kids, but your business was open, that's not a qualifying reason. Mm-hmm. Your business is open, you're back to work. If you can't go to work, just like any other time, then that's not because of the disaster. And you can't say, oh, your kids are home because the schools are closed and that's your reason or anything like that. Gotcha. So that concept where PUA was allowed, but not here with DUA.
Now, Janella, to be fair, for the benefit of people that may wonder or may have like these little edge cases or may just want more information, you guys do have thorough, exhaustive information online at dol.guam.gov. I mean, the FAQ section is very, very helpful. And there's a ton of stuff there if people want to find out, say, like it's Sunday morning at 3 a.m. when you guys are obviously like closed, but people can find out about that beforehand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've tried to make ourselves as accessible as possible. So we have our hotline numbers. We were also trying to be as active as possible on social media. So on Facebook, through our messenger accounts, on Instagram. As you mentioned, our website, dol.guam.gov/DUA. So we made a separate landing page for that. So our hotline numbers are 671-479-5610 or 5612. And then we also have an email address, which we do have people actively monitoring our email addresses, or email address rather, sorry. And we do have people responding to that email address as well. So that's dua.hotline@dol.guam.gov.
Okay. And it's all on our website. But the one thing I do want to make sure that the public understands, when you dial those hotline numbers, there's no busy signal. So it rings when all our workers are helping, assisting claimants. So if everybody's on the line, it still rings, and people say, well, nobody's answering their phones, nobody's working. No, it's because they're all on the phone and they're all helping clients. So just keep calling.
After like 5 or 6 or 7 rings, maybe just hang up and try again.
Or plug your phone in to make sure you got enough battery, put it on speakerphone, and just put it on the side, and then go back to doing Facebook. And when somebody picks up, they'll be able to help you out.
Yes.
Yeah, and if there is one thing I know, because I mean, true to your nature, you guys are the Department of Labor, and your team works very, very hard to make sure they can help as many people as possible in as quick a fashion as possible. So credit to you guys.
Thank you. And know that we're very limited with the amount of budget that FEMA gave us to hire people. So, we have 15 people down at taking claims. We have a couple answering phones, and that was all that they were able to afford us. So, yeah, everybody is working as hard as we can and ensuring that every claim is going to be processed well.
I was just about to ask. I was going to say there may be some Guamanians that want to say, I volunteered during the pandemic and everything like that. I've got a few hours. Is there, would it be possible for me to go down there and help out?
Well, the problem is the complexity of the system and the training. Sure. The staff that we had went through weeks of training. So I think we have a hold of it. The volunteer work is not much. It's mostly helping people put in their claims. Mm-hmm. So the other part that I wanted to kind of to inform your public is, because there's no waivers. So any mistakes and you're found not at fault and you got paid, the claimant has to pay it back. So because of that, we are taking the extra steps that we're going to review every claimant that filed as much as possible to ensure that they're clean claims before we process them for payment. So this is going to create a little bit of a delay in getting the money out, because the last thing I want to do is give you the money and then you find out that, oh, we were mistaken, you weren't eligible, give it back.
Right.
And people spend it. That's something, and there's nothing I can do. Even if I made the mistake for you, you still owe it.
There you go.
That's just the way that it works. So we're looking at, hopefully by the end of the month or beginning of October is when we're going to start looking at processing payment for claimants.
Okay, well,
everybody is taking claims now and getting them into the system before the deadline.
Understood. Okay, Janelle, what else have you guys got going on down there at the agency? Because I mean, again, Department of Labor, and you guys are always busy.
Yeah, that's very true. So we're pretty focused on DUA, but we're busy with other things as well. H2 never stops. H2B never stops. We're very busy with H2B.
I mean, I had the governor call me up this week and say, why are there hundreds of Filipinos outside the GCIC building? I said, Gov, they're all H2s getting their IDs done because we can't have 100 come in during working hours. It would disrupt the building. So we work on Saturdays to get them their IDs. We're that crazy. We're also pushing apprenticeship, working with GCC. GRAP is starting to take off.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of companies interested in GRAP. So that's going well. We have a local OSHA guy for the government. Benny, that is doing a great job.
He's our safety officer. Yeah.
He's going out to the schools. He's going out trying to help them and provide them mitigation for safety. Like I said, we have everybody, the AJC is going gangbusters. We're doing a year-round youth program. Yeah. We're helping the vets. We're doing employment services as much as possible. We're getting inundated with wage and hour complaints. Mm-hmm. We're getting inundated with fair labor. Everything is busy. So it's just unbelievable. Yeah. All these directions of things that are going on. Workers' comp, as busy as ever.
If you want to put it in the perspective of a certain light, the Department of Labor is the perfect place for someone who grew up on Guam to work, because we're not afraid of hard work here on the island. So the fact that you guys are busy 24/7, that's
very diverse, department with different departments. But I want to say I'm lucky. I got some hardworking people here. They're doing an excellent job. And, we do have our bumps and bruises, but, like anybody else, we do have our challenges too, because we create a lot of talented people, and a lot of them get hired by other agencies and federal, the feds, and just like everybody else. So we're always challenged with talent like everybody else is, but that's okay. We'll train them. They'll become great employees, or hopefully anybody else. So that's just part of the job we do.
All right. Well, Janelle, a final question, because I realize all the interviews I've ever done with either you or the two of you at the same time, I have even asked yet you haven't said the word job fair yet, and you guys typically always have a job fair. I'm sure one is in the plans for the near future, right?
Yeah, we had a huge one last year. It was in the summer, and I think we had plans to do one again, another one this year, but of course that was kind of derailed by the typhoon.
Yeah, you got between the PUA and the pandemic, and funny because I was just speaking with Mary Rhodes, and I was speaking with Yoli, Sherm. We were all talking about. I said, I want to do another job fair. Yeah. Now, what do we do? Do we want to do an industry specific, or do we want to do one like we did last time? We had 90 employers, all in one room. 2,000 people came. Do we want to do a massive one like that, or do we want to do more industry specific? So we're starting that dialogue. So you must have heard it through the grapevine that we are looking ahead at how we're going to do the next job fair, and how do we help people do this, because everybody's looking for workers.
Well, I know you guys are always on top of your game, because I remember, it was literally 18, you mentioned Mary Rhodes, the president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. It was about 18 hours after the storm left back in May. She was already telling me, she goes, hey, you want to get a hold of Dave pretty soon, because there's this one thing that you know, remember what pool was? We've got something coming up like that for disaster assistance.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah. So I mean,
yeah, here we are.
yeah. So the wheels are spinning like constantly down there at DOL and everything, and you guys are keeping on top of it, and we appreciate it.
And we appreciate you always helping
Yes.
us get the word out.
All
Yes,
right,
thank
likewise. So Dave Della Sola and Janela Carrera from the Guam Department of Labor. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks,
You too.
Jason.
Bye.